Okay, we're gonna ask some of y'all to go and stand up and start moving around. There we go. Y'all see those young people?
When you come into His presence, lifting up the name of Jesus, and you hear the music play, and you see the people praising, just forget about your worries, leave your troubles all behind you. Don't you wait another minute, just get up and on your feet and get to dancing, singing, jumping, leaping, get to shouting, make it loud and make it glorious. When you come into His presence, lifting up the name of Jesus, and you hear the music playing, and you see the people praising, just forget about your worries, leave your troubles all behind you. Don't you wait another minute, just get up and on your feet and get to dancing, singing, jumping, leaping, get to shouting, make it loud and make it glorious. Rejoicing, praising, lifting, raising, get to shouting, make it loud and make it praise, get to dancing, singing, jumping, leaping, get to shouting, make it loud and make it glorious. All rejoicing, praising, lifting, raising, get to shouting, make it loud and make it praise, glorious, glorious. Woo!
Luke chapter 23, beginning with verse 44. It was now about noon, and darkness came over the whole land until 3 in the afternoon, for the sun stopped shining, and the curtain of the temple was torn in two. Jesus called with a loud voice, Father, into your hands I commit my spirit. When he said this, he breathed his last. 2 weeks ago on Facebook Live, yes, Facebook Live, I preached a sermon on journey to justice from an earlier part of the same chapter of Luke. 1 Luke 23:34 contains what is commonly referred to as the first of the 7 last words of Jesus from the cross. That entire pericope emphasizes how neither the religious folks nor the secular authorities wanted the truth. They just wanted whatever obstacle was in their way to go away by any means necessary. Religious authorities wanted Jesus to go away because his righteousness was a threat to their corruption. And then Pilate and Herod wanted the Jewish council to go away because they were drawing too much unwanted attention to their corruption. And even though civic authorities didn't want to crucify Jesus, freeing him would have cost them too much. While religious and civic authorities served their own good, Jesus sacrificed his life for religious and civic authorities, and sacrificed himself for the rest of us to do good, to free us, to give forgiveness to all of us. As believers, we should think about all the guilty people who have occupied our news cycle. So recently, we think about R. Kelly, right? We also think about Paul Manafort, right? We also think about Donald Trump, right? We also think about Curtis Flowers. Y'all heard that story, right? Brother in Mississippi who's been tried 6 times for the same set of murders repeatedly, and the prosecutor has been accused of some discrepancies, right? Doing wrong. But we think about all of those. What guilty person is in your news cycle that you put on that list? Y'all got some guilty people on your news cycle that you know you want to send up, right? I'm just asking. You want to make sure that they get their just due. I got some. What we need to know based on that text, based on what God is doing, based on this litany season, we need to know that Jesus worked to free them, everybody on our list in our news cycle, to free them from the guilty act, as well as the spirit that led to the action, as well as the sin-inducing environment that encourages sin, destruction, guilt, shame, other forms of evil and disregard. Jesus wants to cleanse us, forgive us for all. Here in this passage, God removes obstacles and lifts our spirit. God removes obstacles and lifts our spirit. So before I get there, this whole context, this whole textual experience that we're looking at in terms of 7 last words and all of that, it's reserved, in our minds, it's reserved for a small, short piece of time that we're supposed to pay attention to it, and that's Easter. So I'm violating some rules by lifting it up, mainly because I'm tired of not paying attention to it. It occupies a lot of the Gospels, particularly, and I think there's a lot that we need to discover from it. So I'm paying attention to it doing that. Verse 44 uses a powerful atmospheric occurrence to elucidate the horror of this specific moment, in that passage. The evil plotting on the behalf of God's people, the Jews, who were strategizing to do away with Jesus. That's what the horror was. Darkness, this is what the text says. Darkness came over the entire region from noon until 3. At the time when the sun should have been shining its brightest, darkness loomed instead. Normal circumstances insist that in the middle of the day, natural light will reign. Even when the sky is cloudy, natural light still shines through the clouds. It takes an extraordinary occurrence for darkness to hide the light of day. Perhaps this was a total eclipse. Certainly in that moment, evil and darkness were eclipsing good and godliness. The natural world was exposing the extraordinary, going to extraordinary lengths, and exposing the extraordinary lengths to which religious and irreligious people had gone to put out the light of the world. So I want us to capture that. Here's Jesus. They knew that Jesus was Jesus. And look at the great lengths that they went through to destroy him, to cause his light not to shine. Once Jesus had made himself known to the religious authorities, they rejected his intervention into the affairs of human beings. We don't want you, right? They didn't just stop there. They tried every trick to restrict his campaigns to set people free from their burdens, to bring those who were marginalized back to the center. They rejected his attempts to forgive people their sins. What right do you have to forgive people? They asked repeatedly. They rejected his intentions to free people from their debt. They tried to turn people against Jesus, crafted a plot to kill him, rejected the way out of their own evil. At every turn, every opportunity to acknowledge the Lord, they invited evil and sin increasingly. The light of the world should have been at its brightest. Why? Jesus had come to dwell with people who had been looking for, praying for a Savior. He should have been at his brightest. People no longer had to wonder about the truth of God, no longer had to wonder what his will was for their life. Jesus was among them, but people decided there were some things they didn't want to be saved from. So they worked for darkness. Darkness came over the whole land until 3 in the afternoon, 3 hours. Text says, for the sun stopped shining. Amen. Amen. Sometimes that's S-U-N, but also sometimes for them and for us, it's also S-O-N. 1 Corinthians 10:13, something that we quote frequently from New Members class. No temptation has overtaken you except what is common to mankind. And God is faithful. He will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, he will also provide a way out so you can endure it or stand up under it. Here's my question. Y'all wondering why I quoted that? Right? Not to first century folks, but to us. What happens when you know you're being tempted? You are about to be dragged into a web of evil and sin. When you see God opens a way of escape for you, and you make a clear, intentional decision to refuse God's way out. See, I like that. I like 1 Corinthians. I like it. Because there's some moments in my life, past, and now there's some moments in my life, I want God to show up and rescue me from it. It's so excruciating, it's hard, but I don't often tell the other truth. I'm wondering if you do too. That there's some moments of temptation that I'm in, I'm not so in such a big hurry for God to show up and give me a way out. And there's some moments that I'd rather hang around and I want to blow past the exit sign. I'm just wondering if I'm in the right crowd. Right? Wondering if I'm talking to the right people. Yes, there are some moments when people are coming at me, I want God's way out. But there's some other temptations that come and God shows a flashing, beaming exit sign up ahead, and I said, not you. And there's a lot of reasons for that, right? I mean, sometimes I'm so mad when whoever gives whatever to me is that, you know, I need to, God, I know you got something, but I want them to get my something. Right? What happens? What happens when we choose to blow past God's way out? What do you think? So, I mean, I know we like the verse. That's why we have such trouble quoting. It's not even the longest verse, right? We have a lot of trouble quoting. And I know we like it. What happens when we, well, one, let me just ask you. I know y'all was nodding because y'all was looking at me saying, yeah, I knew he was that bad. Y'all got it. What happened? Have you ever blown past an exit and you knew you were blowing past God's exit? You know, it said exit and you're supposed to slow down and you put your foot on the gas. What do you think happens in those moments? You miss out on a good opportunity. You lost a job. What do you think? What else do you think happens? Cause others to sin. What else do you think happens? What else do you think happens? Amen. All of it. See, that's what I come up with. I come up with all of that list about all of the bad things that happen, but we miss understanding what God does, what he says he does in this passage. Hold on a minute. Let me see if I can explain, if I can elucidate what it is that God is saying to us when we make mistakes in the midst of God trying to save. My verdict for people who blow past the exit, same thing as yours, as long as it's not me, is that they get what they deserve. Right? That's my verdict. But this passage makes it clear God works for our good even when we stray. You see, even when we are working overtime to create darkness, to hide the light of our Lord, He overcomes our darkness with His marvelous light. Brothers and sisters, even at the darkest point, God still reveals the light of His presence. Second part of verse 20, chapter 23, verse 45 says, right after talking about all the darkness looming, it says, and the curtain of the temple was torn in two. Yes, darkness loomed when it should have been light. Yes, the sun stopped shining when it should have been at its apex. And the greater light of God shone anyway. Because I don't care what you do. You just can't hide the presence and brightness of God. Amen. You just can't hide it. The curtain that verse 45 talks about was the curtain in the temple that separates the holy place from the Holy of Holies. Y'all get this right. There's a holy place here. That means, not everybody gonna come to the holy place. Y'all got that right? Amen. I mean, we set them rules because we got doors on our house, and there's some folks, they just can't cross our threshold, right? Amen. There's some people we don't allow in our presence because they just aren't good enough. There's a holy place, but then there's another place beyond the holy place, which is a holy of holies, which is really, really exclusive, right? Amen. So Deidre has her craft room. Not everybody gets in the craft room. Y'all get that right. You don't even get to know that the craft room is there. For some folks, right? You might get in the front door, but not everybody's getting in the craft room. Some of y'all got man caves, right? Not everybody can come to the man cave. It's an exclusive space in your house. You let a lot of people in your house. Not everybody, but you let a lot of people in your house. But you don't let everybody to those sacred places that you got. You don't let everybody you know you got a bar, much less offer them a drink. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know I wasn't supposed to say that. Y'all forgive me, right? So in God's world, in God's understanding, particularly in the Old Testament, there was a holy place in the temple, but then there was a holy of holies. The Holy of Holies was considered so sacred that the high priest could only enter once a year. Before entering, he underwent an elaborate ceremonial cleansing process. And they were so serious about not letting everybody in there, they took steps just in case he died when he went in, so that people unholy wouldn't have to go in and bring him out. They tied a rope to him so that they could drag him out, and you actually would not have to. That's some steps that they took to ensure that only the most holy person went into the Holy of Holies. The curtain kept most people out, except the most holy person, away from the presence of God. And even that person could only get there once a year. Y'all got a list of friends that y'all let in y'all holy place. I mean, whatever that is. That might not even be a physical place. That might just be some conversation that you have that you don't have around everybody. Right? There's some secrets that you have that you share with an exclusive set of people. You let them into that space in your life. Let them know about you, who you are. There are only so many people that gets that close to you. Here's what God did. At the darkest point of humanity, God said, no more am I going to exclude this space for the most reverend and holy place. I'm going to let everybody in. Y'all see that, right? When things were at its lowest, God said, when we were farthest away, God said, you get close because I'm coming close to you. I'm going to open the way for you. Listen to this. God creates access for us when we are at our darkest and most distant. That sounds completely antithetical to what we think about God. But Romans 5:8 emphasizes this powerful truth, stating, "But God demonstrates his own love toward us in that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us." Since we continually fail to be good enough, Christ decided to make his goodness available to us when we need it most. At the very moment we are farthest away from him, and the power of his light shines still. The Lord removes every obstacle so that we can draw near without struggle or effort. He does the work for us. So all we need to do is reach out. We imagine that we've gone too far, don't we? That we strayed too long, don't we? We imagine that we've done so much that God couldn't possibly be close to us. But he does the work for us, so all we have to do is turn, and he is there. We imagine that we've defied God too much, and yes, we have. But God, in sacrificing for us, has opened the back door. Amen? We don't think we got a back door, side door to come through, but God does the work so that wherever we are, he too is there. Even when we've wrapped ourselves in darkness, the light of God is still there. He removes every barrier, every obstacle, every rejection, every sin. He tears our rap sheet in two. Y'all got y'all's rap sheet? Huh? You know what's on it? I mean, do you really know what's on your rap sheet? Or have you conveniently tried to forget about what's on it? Whatever's on the rap sheet, whatever's against you, God rips it in two so that we don't have to go around the stuff. We can come through it. We can go through our darkness to reach the light of God. The thief on the cross felt a wide gulf between he and the Lord. But Jesus turned to him and said, "Today you will be with me." A man murdered a son of a beloved mother, and in the midst of other darkness found forgiveness, became the son he had taken from the mother who had stolen the life from. He became a son to her, even though he had stolen life from her. He saw God giving life through their story of healing. God steps into our greatest darkness and offers light and life. Next week, Tony and his therapist will come and talk about mental health. And one of the things that he talks about and I talk about is that at the very moment when I was out of my mind, when I was disconnected from the truth of God and despairing in darkness, at that very moment when I was most distant, God showed me light and led me out. Amen. Literally. Not a metaphor. Jesus went on to say, "Father, into your hands I commit my spirit." The seventh word of Jesus' last saying is frequently seen as the moment when Jesus released his earthly struggle and surrendered his life back to God. And yes, that is the contextual truth about that passage, is that he gave up his life, he sacrificed himself for our salvation. So it is that truth. It is when Jesus released, when he stopped struggling against our sins and all that the enemy had done against us, and sacrificed himself, died for all of our sins. But there's also another understanding. When we've grown tired of struggling to find peace, when we've grown tired of trying to navigate our own way through racism and trauma and mental stability and chronic stress and backstabbing and poverty and sexism and the like, God invites us to commit our spirit to him. Here's really what I'm saying. All of us want to control all of our minds, right? We want to make up our own mind how we react to the stimulus that's around us. So when things that we want to happen, we want to throw a party and celebrate, don't we? We invite all of our friends and make sure we send out all of our invitations. And so our spirit is rejoicing. But then when somebody tries to backstab us, They work against us. When we see them plotting or think we see them plotting. Because you know our thoughts are always right, aren't they? Aren't our thoughts always right on? I mean, that's what I tell myself. I am a great discerner of what people are thinking, and I know what you're out to do right now, so I'm going to get you before you get me. And we want to control our responses and our reactions to all of the stimulus. And I don't know about you, but I just get worn out by it. I get worn out about making sure that I have the right response, the right reaction, that when my wife does something to me, or I think she's doing something to me, or I think she's getting ready to do something to me, or I think she don't agree with me enough, I get tired of being worn out by all of that junk. I do. But yet I insist on keep doing it. Right? I want to maintain that control. But if we ever recognize we're worn out by that junk that we keep engaging with, God wants us to commit our spirit to Him. Commit our thoughts and our emotions and our attitude. Just give it all to Him. Rather than trying to figure it out. Rather than trying to be right or making sure other people think we're right all of the time. Just put it in God's hands. Because the truth is, you can't do nothing with it no way. We can't. We're just not that good. We're not good enough to engage people around the misstep and through that draw out the goodness of God. When we commit our spirits, our attitudes, our emotions, our actions, our directions, our future, when we commit that, when we put that in God's hand, then we see God do a work most of the time that we never imagined. The work is that no matter what the stuff is, good, bad, or indifferent, God works all of it for our good. That's something we don't get. You know how I know we don't get it? Because most of the time when we talk about what somebody did to us, we talk about how we don't get it. Right? Yeah. Most of the time when we talk about forgiving people, it's most of the time in the same context as, I might forgive them, but they ain't get close to me. Right? Yeah. Most of the time there's some but to our good. We help some people, but we can't help all of the people. But if we understood that God works all things, y'all don't know how many things all things are. All things together for our good. Win, lose, or draw, He works us for our good. Greatness or negativity, He works it for our good. Challenge or opportunity, He works it for our good. Whatever it is. I mean, I got a list, I know you got a list too, of all this stuff that just could not possibly be any good in it. Except God transformed its intent, the environment of its intentions, the actions and the future of it. He transforms all of it so that He works it for our good. How many of y'all can do that? You take all of the stuff that's happening in your life and actually make it work for your good. How many people are there? I'm just checking. Oh. Me either. So, if I commit my spirit to Him and not worry about somebody else's intentions and leave that really in the category of above my pay grade, if I commit my spirit to Him, then I let God decide how I feel about it. You know, before I jump to say, well, I didn't like it. Before I jump, I said, okay, God, what am I supposed to think about this now? How am I supposed to see this? When we commit our spirit to him, then God is in charge of how we feel, how we respond. He's in charge of our highs and our lows and our in-between. God, committing to God's spirit means that we reject our desire to control and surrender our actions and understanding to God and God. Amen? Amen. Psalm 139, 7-12. Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I go to the heavens, you're there. If I make my bed in the depths, you are there. If I rise on the wings of the dawn, if I settle on the far side of the sea, even there will your hand guide me. Your right hand will hold me fast. If I say, surely the darkness will hide me and the light become night around me, listen to this. Even darkness will not be dark to you. The night will shine like the day, for dark is as light to you. When I think about that and I think about this passage, there's been a lot of moments in my life where it's just been dark, consuming. Sometimes that's because what I chose to do. Can I get an amen, somebody? Sometimes it's because of what other people around me chose to do. I'm farthest away from God. I have to do too much to get back to him. Psalm 39 says, even dark is light to you. So yeah, it feels like I'm too far from God. But if you like me, you've understood by now, you can't trust your feelings. I mean, I hope you got it. You know, your feelings betray you all of the time. You know, the people who telling you, just go with what you feel like. No, I can't do that. I can't depend on what I feel like in this moment. I have to surrender to something beyond my feeling. I have to surrender to what God says about me. Even at the moments when I feel farthest away, like I'm lost, like there's no opportunity, like there's nothing there for me, God is right there. Shining his light. No, he's right there. Sometimes we're afraid to make a move. Because it might just mean digging a deeper ditch. In those moments, you know what God says? Turn and see my light. We can't possibly create it for ourselves. So God decided to create it for us. We can't possibly work ourselves through those moments. So God works for us. Eliminates the labor, because no matter how hard we work, we can't get there. So he makes it simple. When we go so far away from God, wherever we are, he puts a door that we can exit through. Find his light, his healing, his deliverance, his opportunity to experience the greatness for us. That's the word of God. When we commit our spirit to him, then we made more than we ever imagined. Experience the greatest freedom that we've never known. See the truth